Before the Clone Wars, the Galactic Republic was the ruling government of the galaxy that existed for more than 25,000 years. About 1,000 years before the Clone Wars, the Galactic Republic had a reformation called the Ruusan Reformation, which was enacted by Chancellor Tarsis Valorum. It returned power to the Senate, placed the Jedi under the authority of the Republic government, and disbanded the vast majority of its remaining military. After the Ruusan Reformation, there was very little galactic conflict, and because of the descaling of the militaries, the Jedi were heavily dependent on keeping civility. This explains why Palpatine says that the Republic stood for 1,000 years in Episode 2, while Obi-Wan says that over 1,000 generations, the Jedi were the guardians of peace and justice of the Old Republic in Episode 2. As the Republic grew more and more powerful, many of the bureaucrats and senators that ran the government grew increasingly corrupt. Corporations like the Trade Federation and Techno Union grew in power and even formed their own militaries due to politicians favoring them and giving them more power and less regulations. Around 32 BBY, Palpatine, both the Senator of Naboo and the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Sidious, manipulated the Trade Federation to invade Naboo. For about a month, the Galactic Senate debated, but did nothing in order to help Naboo. This all weakened Finis Valorum's leadership. When Queen Amidala arrived to Coruscant, Palpatine manipulated her to move for a vote of no confidence against Chancellor Finis Valorum. The Senate voted and he was removed from power. Palpatine later used the invasion of Naboo as a way to get sympathy votes for him, along with killing any senators he suspected would vote against them. Palpatine won and was now the Supreme Chancellor. Later, Palpatine killed his master, Plagueis, who had helped him obtain the position of Supreme Chancellor. Later, a Jedi Master named Dooku left the Jedi Order after feeling they were too ineffective in fixing the key roots of the Republic's decay. He felt that the Jedi's passive views kept him from saving the Republic from its downfall from all of the corruption that took place. He later turned to the dark side and met Palpatine, in which he later became his apprentice. A short time later, a Jedi named Sifo Dyas was manipulated by the Sith, both by Plagueis before his death and then later Dooku. Before Sifo Dyas even met Plagueis, he was concerned that the galaxy was on the brink of civil war, and that the Jedi were not taking any action in order to prevent it. Later he met Plagueis, who told Sifo Dyas about how many systems in the Outer Rim were ready to succeed from the Republic and claim independence, and that many corporations were militarizing themselves. This further pushed Sifo Dyas into believing that the Republic needed an army to protect itself. After Plagueis was killed by Palpatine, time passed before Sifo Dyas was confronted by the Sith again. This time it was Dooku who convinced the Jedi to order a clone army from Kamino, which was funded by money that Plagueis held, despite the fact that he was dead. After the clone army was ordered under the name of Sifo Dyas, he was killed by Dooku in order to ensure that the Jedi wouldn't find out. He also removed the planet Kamino, as well as a few others, from the Jedi archives. This was all done before Dooku officially left the Jedi Order. Palpatine and Dooku needed a DNA template in which they would use to create the clone army. They chose Jango Fett, the last survivor of the old Mandalore shock troopers, for his combat skills and experience in killing Jedi. Jango Fett accepted after being given a large payment and being allowed to have an unaltered clone, who would later become Boba Fett. Under Palpatine's direction, Count Dooku united several commercial organizations. They named themselves the Confederacy of Independent Systems. These organizations pledged the massive armies they had used to protect their profits to Dooku, thus making the Confederacy capable of overthrowing the Republic, a threat in the eyes of the Senate. Palpatine arranged for Dooku to construct a revolutionary government at the end of his term limit as Chancellor. Due to this, the oblivious Senate granted him an extra term in office to settle the Separatist crisis. Palpatine later publicly invited the Separatists to peaceful negotiations, but behind the scenes he told Dooku to not accept. In doing so, he made the Separatists look unreasonable. Around 22 BBY, Palpatine had some senators assassinated. Without having any terrorist organization take credit for them, many senators thought the assassinations were from the Separatists, thus bringing fear to the senators. 2 failed assassination attempts on Naboo Senator Amidala created a Jedi investigation, in which a Jedi named Obi-Wan Kenobi tracked down the bounty hunter, Jango Fett, to Kamino. When Obi-Wan found out about the clone army on Kamino, he told the Jedi Council about its existence. He then later pursued it after Jango Fett after he found out that he was the assassin. He followed Jango Fett to Geonosis, where he made the discovery of a massive droid army being built by the Separatists, in which he informed the Jedi and the Senate before being captured. With the news of the massive droid army that the Separatists possessed, the senators were afraid. During a Senate conference, Jar Jar Binks, standing in for Amidala, proposed to give emergency powers to Palpatine in order to create a grand army for the Republic. The majority of the Senate voted for it, and Palpatine was granted his new powers, in which he used to legalize the clone army from Kamino and have it become the Grand Army of the Republic. After the Jedi failed to rescue Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme from the Separatists on Geonosis, Jedi Master Yoda arrives with the newly created clone army and saves the remaining Jedi from the arena, officially starting the Clone Wars. After the Republic victory of Geonosis, Dooku, after escaping, returned to Coruscant to inform Palpatine on what had happened, while also giving him the plans of the ultimate weapon, also known as the Death Star. Now that the Clone Wars began, the clone army led by the Jedi were fighting the droid army led by generals like Grievous and Asajj Ventress. The Clone Wars destroyed many worlds on both peaceful planets and warmongering planets. This led to many citizens on both sides wanting an end to this maddening chaos. Not only that, but because the Republic was in massive debt from having to fund the war, many lived in poverty as a result, also wanting an end to the war. Now, the reason why Palpatine didn't give out Order 66 in the very beginning of the war was because he needed for the people and senators to desperately want to end the war, to replace the chaos of order. He needed the people to be on his side in order for him to successfully create his empire. He wanted the people to turn on the Jedi, viewing them as the ones who started the war, and also view the Republic as a failed system that needed to be replaced. Near the end of the war, after the Separatists' failed attack on Coruscant, which resulted in the death of Dooku, planned by Palpatine, the Republic finally had a chance to end the war by finding and killing General Grievous. Grievous would later be killed by Obi-Wan, which was a huge blow to the Separatists. The Separatist leadership was now under Nute Gunray. Nute Gunray, along with all the other Separatist leaders, went to Mustafar to await further instructions from Palpatine, aka Darth Sidious. Throughout the entire war, Palpatine has been manipulating Anakin, telling him how the Jedi treated him like a child, and that Anakin deserved much more, and that the Jedi were afraid of Anakin because of his potential, of him being the chosen one. This all led to Anakin falling to the dark side. Not only this, but Anakin was also very angry with the death of his mother and with Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order, all of which he blamed the Jedi. After Grievous was killed, Jedi Mace Windu, with a task force of other Jedi Masters, confronted Palpatine and demanded he return his emergency powers or be arrested. Palpatine refused and then officially revealed to them that he was the Sith Lord the whole time. After a heated battle between the five, Palpatine was at the mercy of Mace Windu. They were interrupted when Anakin showed up. Anakin, with his need to save Padme, his wife, after seeing dreams of her dying, attacked Mace Windu, protecting Palpatine, which Palpatine used to kill Mace Windu. Anakin did this because he believed that Palpatine could save his wife. Anakin has now fallen to the dark side. Now with Anakin under Palpatine's control, Palpatine finally orders the clones to kill the Jedi generals, and the clones, being genetically programmed, were forced to obey, though some did disobey and let the Jedi general live. After Palpatine gave out Order 66, he tells Anakin to go to the Jedi Temple and kill all the Jedi there, and then go to Mustafar and kill all of the remaining Separatist leaders there. Anakin does this, officially ending the Clone Wars. Most Jedi were killed, and those who weren't exiled themselves. In the Senate, Palpatine declares the Republic to be transformed into the First Galactic Empire. The Senate all cheered, hoping for the promises of peace and order. Palpatine now was Emperor. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to check out my other video titled What We Want in Star Wars Battlefront, a new series that I'm starting. And as always, may the Force be with you.